Hey there. You know that feeling when like your to-do list is a mile long and your heart just won't stop racing?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, we've all been there.
definitely.
You're not alone.
Not at all.
Today we're doing a deep dive into anxiety.
Where?
We've got a stack of research here from the Brain and Behavior Research Foundation,
Excellent.
and we're going to try to break down everything from what anxiety actually is to how you could start to feel more in control.
It's amazing how much anxiety is actually just a normal part of life.
Really?
Yeah,
Who knew?
right.
The research says it's like the difference between, say, feeling nervous before a presentation
Mm-hmm.
and letting that nervousness like totally hijack your entire week.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Occasional anxiety is totally human.
Okay.
It's our brain's way of saying, hey, pay attention. But when it becomes chronic, when it's overwhelming,
Yeah.
when it starts to get in the way of, well, living your life, that's when it crosses the line into an anxiety disorder.
So it's about intensity and how long it sticks around.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And, there are actually several different types of anxiety disorders.
What?
Each one has its own unique challenges and ways of showing up.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here? How many are there?
Well, the 5 most common ones are generalized anxiety disorder,
Okay.
obsessive compulsive disorder,
Mm-hmm.
panic disorder,
Okay.
post-traumatic stress disorder, and social phobia.
5. 5 big ones
Okay, that's a mouthful.
is a lot.
Let's break it down.
Okay.
First up, what is this generalized anxiety disorder all about?
So it's kind of like the name suggests.
Imagine this. You wake up,
Yeah.
and you're already hit with this wave of worry and tension. And it just doesn't go away. It follows you around all day, every day for months.
Oh, wow.
And here's the thing. It's not always tied to something specific.
Really?
It could be work relationships, health, even just these what-if scenarios that spiral in your head.
So like a constant low-level hum of what if
Yeah.
that just never shuts off.
Yeah, I can feel like that.
Ugh, that sounds exhausting.
It can be. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay,
It manifests physically, too.
what do you mean?
We're talking fatigue. Your muscles are tense headaches. Even your stomach is tied up in knots. Your body is basically stuck in fight or flight mode 24/7.
Wow, no wonder people feel so drained.
Yeah, it can be really tough.
Speaking of intense physical symptoms, what about panic disorder? That one sounds kind of terrifying, honestly.
It can be incredibly frightening, and I think the best way to understand it is to imagine this. You're going about your day, everything seems normal,
Mm-hmm.
and then, bam! It hits you. This sudden, intense wave of terror, seemingly out of nowhere.
Oh, gosh.
Your heart starts racing.
Oh, no.
You might even feel chest pain, dizziness, shortness of breath. The works. These are panic attacks, and they can be really debilitating.
I can only imagine. That
Yeah.
sounds beyond disruptive to everyday life.
Absolutely. And it's important to remember we've only just touched on 2 of the 5 most common anxiety disorders.
Right.
We also have OCD, which involves those intrusive thoughts and repetitive behaviors.
Right?
PTSD, which, as the name suggests, can develop after someone experiences a traumatic event.
Right.
And social phobia, which centers around the fear of social situations.
Right.
You're right.
So each disorder has its own unique set of symptoms.
Exactly.
But how do doctors actually figure out if what someone is experiencing is an anxiety disorder?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
The process is actually really thorough. Doctors typically start with both physical and psychological evaluations.
Okay.
They're looking for any other potential causes for the symptoms someone might be experiencing. Maybe it's a thyroid issue or even a side effect of certain medications.
So it's about ruling things out.
Exactly. They also look at how long the symptoms have been going on,
Oh.
how intense they are, and
Yeah.
this is key, how much they're impacting the person's day-to-day life.
So it's not just about how you feel on the inside, but how those feelings actually play out in your life, your ability to function.
You got it. And it's really important to get an accurate diagnosis because the good news is that if it is an anxiety disorder, there are effective treatments available.
Okay.
That people don't have to just live with it and struggle.
That's really reassuring to hear.
Yeah.
Now, before we dive into treatments, I'm curious about something. This research mentions some risk factors for anxiety disorders, like things that might make someone more likely to experience them. What's in there? Anything surprising?
One of the really interesting things is that it's not just about like your personality or how you handle stress.
Okay.
There's this fascinating interplay between genetics and your environment.
So like nature and nurture.
Exactly. Family history definitely plays a role. If anxiety runs in your family, you might be more likely to experience it yourself. But it's not just about your genes. Life experiences, especially stressful ones, particularly during those early years, can have a big impact too.
Okay, so it's not just one or the other. It's this complex combination.
Yeah.
So someone's genes might make them a little more susceptible, and then stressful experiences can kind of press the gas pedals, so to speak.
A perfect analogy.
Okay, good to know. So let's say someone recognizes themselves in all of this. What next? What are the go-to options for managing anxiety?
Well, the good news is there are effective treatments out there.
Okay.
The two main avenues are psychotherapy and medication.
Okay.
And often they're even used in tandem for a more comprehensive approach.
Okay, so two main paths. Let's break those down a bit.
Yeah.
Starting with psychotherapy. What exactly is involved there?
So a really effective form of psychotherapy for anxiety is cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT for short. It helps people pinpoint and actually change those negative thought patterns and behaviors that honestly we all have sometimes, but that are really fueling their anxiety.
So it's like rewiring those pathways in your brain that are stuck on repeat, playing the same anxious thoughts over and over again.
Exactly. And it's not just about identifying those thoughts. It's about giving people actionable tools to actually change them.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like upgrading from an old flip phone to the latest smartphone. And what about medication? What role does that play?
Medications like antidepressants and anti-anxiety drugs can be incredibly helpful in managing the chemical imbalances that contribute to anxiety. It's like fine-tuning the levels in your brain's control room, so to speak.
So it's about restoring that balance. That makes a lot of sense. Now, the research also talks about alternative or complementary ways to deal with stress, which, let's face it, often goes hand in hand with anxiety, right?
Absolutely. Stress management is huge GE when it comes to anxiety.
Yeah.
We're talking support groups, mindfulness exercises, even just regular exercise. You'd be amazed at what moving your body can do for your mental well-being.
It's so true. When I'm feeling stressed, even just a quick walk around the block can really shift my perspective. It's like hitting the reset button on my brain.
That's exactly what it's all about. And you know, the research actually says that stress isn't always a bad thing.
Really?
Yes. Think about it. Stress is a natural human response.
Okay.
It's how our ancestors survived.
Right.
That fight or flight response kicks in when we're facing a challenge, and that's not always a bad thing. It keeps us alert, focused, and ready to take action.
Okay, so it's like a built-in alarm system that's supposed to keep us safe.
Exactly. It's only when that alarm system gets stuck in the on position that stress becomes a problem.
Ah, that makes sense. So it's not about eliminating stress altogether, but about managing it right.
You got it. And that's where those coping mechanisms like exercise and mindfulness come in. They help us hit the brakes on that stress response before it spirals out of control.
So we're talking about taking control of our stress response rather than letting it control us.
I like that. But how do we actually do that? What are some signs that our stress levels might be getting a little too high? What should we be looking out for?
That's a great question. And it's important to remember that stress can manifest in a bunch of different ways, mentally, emotionally, and even physically. It's not just in your head, as they say. All right, give me some examples. What kinds of things might point to someone struggling with stress?
Well, on the mental side, you might notice difficulty concentrating, struggling to remember things, or even just feeling mentally foggy. And then there are the emotional signs, like those roller coaster mood swings, being easily irritated, feeling constantly on edge, or just having a really hard time relaxing.
So basically when everything feels like a big deal and you're just on edge all the time.
Exactly. But it goes even deeper than that. Stress can wreak havoc on your body, too. We're talking headaches, muscle tension, digestive issues like stomach aches, or changes in your bowel habits.
Okay, wow. It really does impact the whole system.
Yeah.
So we've got the mental and emotional signs, the physical stuff. Anything else?
Yep. Keep an eye out for changes in behavior. Maybe you're suddenly eating a lot more or a lot less than usual, having trouble sleeping, withdrawing from social events, or just feeling totally unmotivated to do even the simplest tasks.
It's like your whole life gets thrown off kilter.
Precisely. And it's crucial to recognize these signs because early intervention is key. The sooner we address stress, the less likely it is to morph into more serious issues like anxiety disorders or burnout.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So recognizing those signs is a huge first step. But then what? How do we deal with all of that?
Well, that's where the concept of resilience comes into play.
Resilience. Okay, I've heard that word a lot, but what does it actually mean?
In a nutshell, resilience is that amazing ability to bounce back from tough times. Think of it like this: life throws curveballs. It's inevitable. Resilience is what helps you get back up, dust yourself off, and keep swinging even when it feels like you struck out.
So it's like having a built-in shock absorber for life's bumps in the road.
Exactly. And the cool thing is resilience isn't some magical trait that you're born with. It's something you can develop and strengthen over time.
Okay, so how do we do that? How do we build up our resilience muscles?
Well, this research highlights a few key strategies that can help you navigate those inevitable ups and downs with more grace and ease. Are you ready for this?
Yeah. Lay it on me. I'm ready to build some resilience.
Okay, first up, and this might sound surprisingly simple, but cultivating an optimistic outlook.
Okay.
And this doesn't mean you have to walk around with rose-colored glasses ignoring problems.
Yeah.
Right. It's more about consciously looking for the good, even when things are tough.
So like choosing to focus on the possibility of things working out rather than getting stuck on all the ways that could go wrong.
You got it. And the best part is optimism can be contagious.
Okay.
When you approach challenges with a positive attitude, it not only helps you manage your own stress, but it also has this ripple effect on those around you.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, what else can we do to build up that resilience?
This one might seem counterintuitive, but facing your fears head on is huge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's easy to fall into the trap of avoiding things that make us anxious.
Yeah.
But the research actually shows that avoidance only makes anxiety stronger in the long run.
So it's like that old saying, what you resist persists.
Exactly. Think of it this way. Each time you confront a fear, you're chipping away at its power. It might be uncomfortable at first, but you're building up your confidence and proving to yourself that you're stronger than you think.
That's super empowering. I'm all about empowering myself. Okay, what else can we add to our resilience toolkit?
This one's a biggie. Cultivating a strong moral compass.
Okay.
Essentially, it's about living in alignment with your values, knowing what you stand for, and making choices that reflect that even when it's hard.
So it's about having integrity, staying true to yourself.
Exactly. It's about doing the right thing even when no one's watching. And you know what? When you live this way, you create this sense of inner peace that can help you weather any storm.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Okay, what else we got?
Don't underestimate the power of connection. Seeking and accepting social support is crucial. It's okay to ask for help when you need it. Talk to a trusted friend or family member, find a therapist, join a support group.
Yeah.
We weren't meant to go through tough times alone.
So true. It's like having a team of cheerleaders in your corner rooting for you every step of the way.
Exactly. We're wired for connection. It's in our DNA.
All right, what else can we do to become more resilient? I'm ready to put all of this into action.
Well, I know you're going to love this one.
Okay.
Prioritize your physical health. It might seem obvious, but it's amazing how much of an impact exercise has on our mental well-being.
Right. Like even a quick workout can totally change my whole mood.
It's true. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just get moving, even if it's just for a few minutes each day. You'll be amazed at the difference it makes.
All right, so we've got exercise. What else?
Keep that brain sharp. Engage in activities that challenge you mentally. Reading puzzles, learning a new language or skill, whatever lights up your brain, do more of it.
That's like a workout for your brain. I like it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of workouts, another key to resilience is learning to be more adaptable,
Okay.
more flexible in the way you think and respond to life's ups and downs.
So being able to go with the flow, roll with the punches, that kind of thing.
Yes. Life is full of surprises, and sometimes things just don't go according to plan.
Right.
When you're adaptable, you're better equipped to handle whatever comes your way without completely losing your cool.
That makes sense. It's about not letting those unexpected detours derail you from your path.
You've got it. And last, but certainly not least, try to find the meaning, the opportunity for growth, even in the midst of challenges. I know it can be tough, but when you focus on the lessons learned on how you've grown, it can transform adversity into a stepping stone to something even greater.
So powerful, finding the silver lining even when it feels impossible. I love it.
Exactly. And you know, the beauty of all of this is that anyone can cultivate these qualities within themselves.
This has been such an incredible deep dive. We've gone from feeling overwhelmed by that to-do list to feeling empowered to face whatever life throws our way. We've explored the different faces of anxiety, learned how intertwined our mental and physical health really are, and most importantly, we've unpacked this toolkit of strategies for managing stress and building resilience.
I couldn't have said it better myself. And remember, knowledge is power. Understanding these concepts is the first step toward creating positive change.
And for you listening, remember that if you or someone you know is struggling, you're not alone. It's okay to reach out for help. There's absolutely no shame in seeking support when you need it.
Absolutely. And in the meantime, start putting those resilience-building techniques into practice one step at a time.
You've got this. So take care of yourselves, be kind to your minds and bodies, and until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.